So if an instructor says these are the percentage points for each grade, you've got a weighted grading system. So what that means is you could have 1,000 homework assignments. If they're all hundreds, another hundred is not going to increase your grade because you've got 10 out of 100 total points. So the way you calculate your grade is you find the average, which I'll symbolize with X bar. So add up all the numbers, then divide by the number of numbers. So 100 plus itself 4 times, divide by 4 is 100. That's the average for this group. For quizzes, there's 3 quizzes. The dash means there was no quiz there for that part of the table. So add up all the points, then divide by the number of quizzes. So we got an 80 average for quizzes. And then tests, 90 plus 70, and there was 2 tests, so divide by 2, so we got an 80 average for the tests. Their class grade is found by taking the average of each category and multiplying it by the decimal form of the percentage for each category. So there's our homework, our quiz, and then our test. Okay, so we got 10 points coming from here. That's 24 from over here. That's 48 from over here. So their class average, 60, 72, it's an 82 average. Okay, great. You got hundreds on everything, but the homework is weighted much less than everything else. So this student's average is an 82. Okay, so question 2 here was how much does your grade change if you get 100 on the next homework assignment? Your grade is still an 82. Because if you get a 100, this average didn't change. This is still 100. If you got 5 100s instead of 4 100s, you still have a 100 average, and nothing changes in that calculation. All these other averages stayed the same. So if you get 100 on your next homework assignment, it's kind of a trick question. You still have an 82 for your class grade. You don't have to make that computation again if you don't want. Okay, so question 3. Get that out of there. Okay, so assume the only grades the student has are the grades listed in the above table. If they take an additional quiz and get a 100, what will their new grade be? So forget all this. Well, forget what we just did in question 2. We've got 100 over here for quizzes. So the quiz average is changed, but the homework average has not. We still have a 100 because if you add them up and divide by 4. The quiz average has changed like we said, so we got 80 plus 70 plus 90 plus 100, and now we have 4 assignments. So the quiz average is now 85, and the test average hasn't changed. That was an 80 before. So the new grade is calculated the same way. You multiply the homework grade by the decimal form of the percentage. Multiply the quiz grade by the decimal form of the percentage. I think the quizzes were 30%. And then the test grade, multiply by the decimal form of the percentage. So that's 10 plus 25.5 plus 48. So 10 plus 25.5 plus 48, so that's an 83.5. Their grade is now an 83.5, went up by 1.5 points. Let's see what else we got here. That's question 5, we'll get to that. Okay, question 4. The grades are listed in the above table, so it's saying forget about that 100 that we just computed. Only the grades in the above table. So let's say they took a test and they got a 60. What's their new grade going to be? And before you make these calculations, you should speculate what it's going to be. Make a guess. Okay, so they got 100 average still in their homework. The quizzes average, add all those up, divide by 3, so that's an 80. And then the test average has changed. I got to calculate that one. 90 plus 70 plus 60, divide by 3. So it's 73.33. I'll use some decimals. And then tests are weighted at 60% of the overall grade. So tests, I got to do that, times 0.6. That's 44. So we got 44 plus 24 plus 10, so that's 78 for a total grade. So getting that 60 brought down their grade 2 points, because before the 60 the average was 80. So that's their new grade. And then last question. Okay, so we got this table, same table. It looks like the same table. Yeah. The student is about to take one last quiz and one last test. So they're gonna have to choose to study for one more than the other. So this is their estimate. If they study hard for the quiz, they could get 100 on that, and they'll get a 60 on the test. Or they could study hard for the test. If they did that route, they get a 60 and a 90. Okay? So this question wants us to figure out which one's the higher grade. And make a guess before you do it. Which one's going to be the higher grade? So first option would be we have 100 for the homework average. And the quiz average has changed because we're going to get a 100 on the quiz. Oh, sorry. Yeah, plus 80, plus 70, plus 90. Now there's 4 there, so we've got an 85 average on the quizzes. And the test average is going to change because it said we're going to get a 60 on the next test. So 60 plus 70 plus 90, 3, so 73.3 repeating. I think we already did 85 times 0.3, but I forgot. Yeah, 25.5. That's 44. Add those up, and you've got your class grade. So if they study hard for the quiz, their grade in the class is pretty much unchanged, drops by 0.5 points. So the second option, homework stays the same, it said. And then we're going to get a 60 on the next quiz. So what's the average going to be if we put a 60 in there? We got 4 numbers. So it's going to be a 75 average on the quiz. And the test, we're going to get a 90 on the test. So we're not going to get quite as high of a grade. So that's 250. We need to divide by 3 to find the average. So it's 83.3 repeating average on the test. So 75 times 0.3, that's 22.5. And that's 50. That's 82.5. So look, if they study hard for the quiz, they get 100 on the quiz. If they study hard for the test, they get a 90 on the test. And then we get 60s on the other assessment that you didn't study for. Studying more for the test had a 3-point bigger positive impact on their grade. The tests are weighted higher. The tests are weighted at 60% of the grade. So you should try much harder on the tests than you do on the quizzes.